some games don't just fade away. They haunt you. Not because they were scary, but because they were unforgettable. The kind of games that made you stay up all night, burning through levels, only to wish years later that they'd come back better than ever. Today, we're counting down 10 legendary games that deserve full remakes right now. From forgotten cult classics to iconic franchises that deserve a second shot, this list is all about nostalgia colliding with modern gaming dreams. And trust me, you'll want to stick around till number 1 because it's a fan favorite that people have been begging for since the PlayStation 1 era. 10. Dino Crisis, 1999, Capcom. Resident Evil with dinosaurs. That's literally how fans describe it. And honestly, they're not wrong. Back in '99, Capcom took their survival horror formula and replaced zombies with raptors, turning every corner into a heart-pounding chase for your life. The game had puzzles, ammo scarcity, and that same sense of dread, but with prehistoric monsters ripping through walls instead of the undead. For years, fans have begged Capcom to give it the same modern remake treatment as Resident Evil 2 and 4, but instead, the franchise has been left to collect dust. A proper remake could bring back the tension, the jump scares, and let's be real, who doesn't want to face off against a T-Rex in 4K with today's graphics? If dinosaurs deserve a second life, what about a franchise that basically invented open-world chaos? 9. Far Cry, 2004, Crytek. Before Far Cry became the formula we know today, it was something totally different. The very first game dropped us in a massive jungle and said, good luck. No hand-holding, no mini-map clutter, just you, the wilderness, and enemies who could spot you from miles away. It pioneered the idea of open-world combat years before it became standard, and the freedom it offered was mind-blowing at the time. But ask longtime fans, and they'll tell you Ubisoft sequels drifted too far from the raw survival edge that made the original special. Imagine remaking this with today's tech. Dense jungles, smarter AI, and the kind of chaos Far Cry was born to deliver. Speaking of drifting, our next pick literally had us racing through the streets with one of the best car culture vibes in gaming history. 8. Midnight Club 3, Dub Edition, 2005, Rockstar Games. Before Rockstar became all about Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead, they gave us one of the best street racing experiences ever made. Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition wasn't just about speed, it was about style. The car customization was insane for its time. The soundtrack was pure mid-2000s gold, and racing through open cities at night felt way more alive than most modern racers. Fans have been begging Rockstar to bring it back for years, but with GTA dominating the spotlight, Midnight Club has been left parked in the garage. A proper remake could revive car culture in gaming the way nothing else has lately. Cars were cool, but what if you could skate through entire cities instead? 7. Tony Hawk's Underground, 2003, Neversoft. Skateboarding games were already huge, but Underground changed everything. Instead of just chasing high scores, it gave us a full story mode. You weren't just Tony Hawk, you were you, climbing from unknown skater to legend. It mixed RPG-style progression with wild tricks, hidden spots, and that rebellious 2000s vibe that defined an era. Fans went crazy over the remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, but if you ask the diehards, Underground is the true cult classic that deserves the spotlight. A remake could blend modern skating mechanics with the over-the-top creativity that made this game unforgettable. From kickflips to kick butts, the next game took us from half-pipes straight into full-on high school brawls. 6. Bully, 2006, Rockstar Games. Imagine Grand Theft Auto, but instead of guns and gangs, you're dealing with teachers, bullies, and a slingshot. That's Bully, Rockstar's most underrated gem. It turned high school into a sandbox, complete with clicks, pranks, and some of the sharpest writing the studio has ever done. At launch, it stirred up controversy, with people assuming it was just about picking on kids, when in reality it was way smarter and way more funny than critics gave it credit for. Over the years, rumors of Bully 2 have popped up again and again, but nothing has ever come of it. A modern remake could give this cult classic the second chance it deserves. And from classrooms to wastelands, our next game built one of the greatest RPG worlds ever made. 5. Fallout New Vegas, 2010 Obsidian. When it comes to Fallout, fans never stop arguing, but New Vegas almost always comes out on top. Obsidian gave us branching storylines, factions that actually mattered, and player choices that could reshape the entire Mojave. It's the kind of RPG where two people could play for 100 hours each and walk away with totally different stories. But here's the thing, as beloved as it is, it feels clunky today. The engine was rough even back then, and bugs became part of the experience whether you wanted them or not. A full remake could smooth it all out while keeping the freedom and grit that made New Vegas legendary. Vegas was wild, but nothing hit harder than the neon-soaked streets of Vice City. 4. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, 2002 Rockstar Games. Few games captured a vibe like Vice City. Neon lights, pastel suits, palm trees, and that legendary 80s soundtrack. This was crime chaos wrapped in pure style. For many fans, Vice City isn't just another GTA entry. It's the one that defined the series. But when Rockstar released the so-called Trilogy remaster, players were left disappointed. Buggy visuals, missing details, and none of the magic that made the original so special. What fans are really waiting for is a proper remake, one that rebuilds Miami from the ground up while keeping every ounce of that 80s swagger intact. Miami Nights were unforgettable, but our next pick takes us deeper, literally into one of the most atmospheric worlds gaming has ever seen. 3. BioShock, 2007 2K Games. Would you kindly step back into Rapture? BioShock wasn't just a shooter, it was an experience, blending philosophy, atmosphere, and one of the greatest plot twists in gaming history. That underwater city felt alive, creepy, and unforgettable, from the haunting Big Daddies to the eerie whispers of the Splicers. Fans still debate Infinite, but most agree nothing matches the magic of that first descent into Rapture. A true remake could elevate the visuals, tighten the combat, and let an entire new generation discover why this game is legendary. From underwater cities to deep space, our next classic redefined sci-fi horror shooters in the most terrifying way possible. 2. Dead Space, 2008 EA Redwood Shores. If you played Dead Space back in 2008, you probably remember turning the lights off, cranking the volume, and instantly regretting it. This was the scariest trip through space ever made. Claustrophobic hallways, grotesque necromorphs, and that genius limb-cutting combat system. EA recently gave us a fantastic remake of the first game, but here's the problem. Fans don't just want Isaac Clarke's first Nightmare remade, they want the sequels, especially 2, rebuilt with the same level of care. Dead Space 3 left a bad taste, trying too hard to go co-op and action-heavy, and the series never truly got the ending it deserved. A full trilogy remake could finally give sci-fi horror its proper arc. Sci-fi horror is terrifying, but our #1 pick is pure nostalgia, a lost PlayStation classic fans have been begging Sony to revive for decades. 1. The Legend of Dragoon, 1999, PlayStation. Some games aren't just classics, they're legends, and The Legend of Dragoon is exactly that. Released on the original PlayStation, this JRPG stood out with its unique timed combat system, cinematic transformations, and an epic story that rivaled even Final Fantasy at the time. It never got the sequels it deserved, but it earned a cult following that never went away. To this day, fans flood forums and petitions begging Sony to give it another shot. Not just a remaster, but a full remake that could finally let a new generation experience its magic. If there's one game on this list that screams justice, it's this one. The Legend of Dragoon isn't just a game fans want back, it's the ultimate dream remake. And there you have it, 10 games that aren't just old favorites, but absolute legends begging for a second chance. From survival horror with dinosaurs to skateboarding rebellions, high school chaos, and forgotten JRPG masterpieces, each of these titles deserves a full modern remake. But here's the real question. Which game do you think deserves the remake treatment the most? Did I miss a hidden gem from your childhood, or do you agree with this list? Drop your dream remake in the comments, because who knows, sometimes studios really do listen. Until then, keep gaming, keep dreaming, and I'll catch you in the next countdown.